Until today, he's only been known as the boy in the box, a cold case that has stumped investigators for 65 years. An unidentified child found naked and beaten to death in a cardboard box on February 25, 1957 in Philadelphia.
What if I told you a mystery that haunted an entire city for over 65 years has finally been solved?
Well, they called him the boy in the box. Decades later, his murder remains an unsolved mystery. This morning, people gathered at a cemetery in East Mount Airy to remember the little boy, who is now called America's unknown child.
The chilling case of America's unknown child, a boy left abandoned and battered.
The boy in the box officially has a name after nearly 66 years. Philadelphia police are one step closer to solving one of their most notorious cold cases. And now the focus shifts to who killed him at just 4 years old.
Puzzled investigators for decades. But now, after relentless pursuit, his identity has been revealed. The boy who sparked nightmares and unanswered questions is no longer a ghost of the past. Want to know who he really was and what happened? Keep watching to uncover the truth behind this heartbreaking story and feel the chilling closure that shook the world. The case of the unknown boy in the box, once a chilling mystery, is now a story of closure after over 6 decades. The discovery of the child, found abandoned and battered in the cold of 1957, had haunted the city of Philadelphia, the nation, and the world. Today, we stand at the precipice of revelation. The boy has a name, Joseph Augustus Zarelli. This is a tale that transcends time, pulling us into the heart of a decades-long investigation that echoes the fears of every parent and the pain of every detective involved. What began as a baffling, heartbreaking mystery has now found its resolution. Join me as we journey through this case, an exploration not only of a lost boy, but also of perseverance, justice, and the enduring human spirit. A forgotten child's final resting place. It was February 25, 1957, when a college student, casually walking through the Fox Chase neighborhood, stumbled upon a box he thought contained a discarded doll. Upon closer inspection, he realized the horror within: a small naked boy, bruised and wrapped in a faded plaid blanket. This child, estimated to be between 4 and 6 years old, had been abandoned in a wooded area, left to die alone. Though the discovery was both tragic and mysterious, investigators were confronted with even more questions. The child's hair had been crudely cut, his nails meticulously trimmed, and his body showed signs of malnutrition and abuse. For days, authorities were left in the dark, unable to determine how long the child had been dead or the cause of his injuries. As police scoured local orphanages and institutions, no one could identify the child. Flyers were distributed nationwide, but no one came forward. What was left was a haunting image of a boy, now a symbol of America's unknown child. Leads that went nowhere. The search for answers began in earnest. Investigators followed every lead, each more frustrating than the last. One of the first major efforts involved a detailed reconstruction of the child's face, hoping that someone somewhere might recognize him. Yet, despite widespread publicity, no one could identify him. The police also traced the origins of the box in which the child had been found. It was a bassinette box from JCPenney, but this led nowhere significant. Similarly, a unique blue hat discovered near the body was traced to a local store, but without a record of the purchaser, it too led to a dead end. What followed was the same cycle: leads, investigations, and disappointment. And yet, detectives pressed on, treating this unknown boy as their own. For decades, his case remained one of Philadelphia's most perplexing and heartbreaking unsolved homicides. DNA and new hope. By the late 1990s, technology had advanced enough to bring new hope to this long cold case. DNA analysis, though still in its infancy, offered a glimmer of possibility. DNA was extracted from the boy's remains, but initial tests yielded only partial results, too weak to conclusively identify him. However, the story did not end there. The case gained renewed attention when the boy was exhumed in 1998. With better technology at their disposal, forensic experts were determined to finally crack the case. A mitochondrial DNA profile was obtained, though it still wasn't enough to reveal the boy's identity. Still, detectives and genealogists kept searching, hoping that science would eventually give them the answers they sought. The boy's story was now being told worldwide, inspiring citizens, former officers, and volunteers to join the investigation. But despite all the advancements, the boy's identity remained a mystery. A psychiatrist's remarkable revelation: In the early 2000s, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A psychiatrist from Ohio reached out to the police, claiming her patient had recurring memories of a boy who matched the description of the boy in the box. This patient, later identified as M, recounted memories of a boy named Johnny who had been kept in a cellar and eventually died under mysterious circumstances. Investigators pursued this lead, flying to Ohio to speak with the patient, but despite many seemingly coincidental details, this lead also fell through. The boy's name remained a haunting unknown. Yet the theory that the child had been the victim of an abusive household, perhaps from a carnival family, remained a possibility for many years. The role of the VDOC Society. As the years passed, the case continued to languish in the files of the Philadelphia Police Department. However, a group of retired law enforcement officers, part of the VDOC Society, took a personal interest in the case. Led by Bill Fleischer, the society helped to reinvigorate the investigation, offering new strategies and bringing together the expertise of seasoned detectives. Together with forensic genealogists, the group worked tirelessly, sorting through the boy's genetic profile. They hoped that, with advancements in technology, they would finally be able to trace his lineage. And at last, in 2021, after years of tireless effort, scientists and genealogists finally cracked the case. A distant genetic match led investigators to the boy's biological family. DNA confirmed the child's identity, and he was finally named Joseph Augustus Zarelli. Born in 1953, Joseph was only 4 years old when he was brutally murdered and abandoned. The search for his family had been a daunting task, but with the help of genealogists and the dedication of those still working on the case, the truth came to light. Joseph's name and his legacy. Joseph's story, once a haunting enigma, was now complete. His grave at Ivy Hill Cemetery was no longer marked by the faceless America's unknown child, but instead by his true name, Joseph Augustus Zarelli. While the investigation continues to this day, the boy's identity has brought some closure to his case. The detectives who had dedicated their lives to solving this mystery could finally say that they had done it. Joseph's name would live on, and the long unsolved case would be remembered as a testament to the unyielding pursuit of justice. The enduring spirit of Joseph Augustus Zarelli. Joseph's name, now etched in stone, stands as a symbol not only of the resilience of those who pursued the truth, but of the power of human compassion and dedication. Through the years of dead ends, advances in science, and the tireless efforts of many individuals, this boy, whose life was tragically cut short, has finally been given the dignity and recognition he deserved. For those who spent decades working on this case, it is a bittersweet victory. Joseph's story will forever remain in the hearts of those who fought for him, and his case will continue to inspire future generations of investigators. The mystery is solved, but the legacy of America's unknown child lives on. The discovery of Joseph Augustus Zarelli's identity after more than 65 years is both a victory and a heartbreak. This case has remained one of the most puzzling mysteries in American history, but the search for answers is far from over. Imagine being so close to the truth, yet still left with the lingering question: what really happened to him? The agony of unanswered questions, the chase for elusive truths. We're all part of this journey, and trust me, this is just the beginning. If you're captivated by this story, don't miss our next video: the disappearance of Maura Murray. This case continues to stir the hearts of those searching for closure. It's a mystery that could leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Be sure to hit that subscribe button now. You won't want to miss the twists, the revelations, and the shocking truths waiting in our upcoming videos. Join us as we continue unraveling the deepest, most perplexing cases in history. Trust me, you don't want to be the one left out. Subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next.